Some locations are iconic. They're what give a place its meaning and character, and often over photographed. But today I'm not going to ignore them, and I will tell you why. Well folks, it is 5 AM, day 7, video 7, and the end of my Lake District photography series. I've had a fantastic week up here. I've visited some really wonderful places. What I've done on this trip is I've gone to places I've not been before. Well, there is one that I visited before, which I absolutely love. But apart from that, they've all been brand new locations, which has been wonderful. But it seems like I've missed something from the trip. It seems like I've missed out those quintessential, very well known, possibly over photographed Lake District locations. So I'm going to get up, get myself sorted, and we're going to visit a few of those on our drive back home down through the Lake District National Park. Okay, I can get up, I can do that on my own. I'll catch you in a minute when we're on the road. Never seemed right that I ended my trip in the Lake District National Park this year by just ending with yesterday's video. And it dawned on me when I was driving back yesterday that actually what I haven't done this year is visit any of the iconic locations. And that was done deliberately. It was done on purpose because I wanted to take in new places. But on some points, I kind of felt a little bit sad that I hadn't done that, because there are certain locations and places in the Lake District which I've always visited and always gone to. And this trip this year has been a little bit of a reflective journey on back to where my photography began and what photography means to me. And it seemed right that I should go back and pay a little bit of respect to those locations that first started this whole journey. And there's one place very close to a campsite where I used to stay, where I guess I took many of those first images ever taken for myself in the Lake District. And those are the ones that we're going to visit right now. Well, I'm guessing many of you know exactly where I am now. I'm down at the Keswick launches, where you can hire some rowing boats and hop on a few of the river boats, which will take you around the lake. And it really is quite an iconic spot. It's probably one of the first photographs I probably saw of the Lake District, to be honest. And those pictures of those boats have featured many times in many photographers' portfolios over the years. I think you see these things less now because most photographers feel that indeed they have been done to death. But things change over the time. Not that it's going to change my photographs much today. The jetties are all brand new. Nice to see it's all being looked after and doing well. But I wanted to come down here and take some photographs anyway, and just put together those iconic lakeland scenes. So I've set up a very classic composition at a very classic place. We've got the lakeshore left-hand side just sort of moving its way, almost curving around back in towards the scene. There's a red boat over there against the jetty, which works reasonably well. And then the main Derwent Isle is right in front of me with the nicely lit boats over there. Boat sheds and building on the island. It's a very simple, basic photograph, but it's exactly what I was after. And I've simplified it a little bit more by using very slow shutter speeds to really take out those ripples in the water. So we've just got this almost very dead smooth flat surface, punctuated by a few buoys and a few posts, whatever they are, which is, I guess, a little bit messy, but it's okay. It works for what I wanted it to work for. And it's interesting looking at this viewpoint and framing up these photographs that you can see that the location is indeed iconic for a very good reason. You know, there is a lot of things to be photographed here, and you can see why photographers flocked here in their droves to capture these viewpoints. Are absolutely wonderful, and I've certainly enjoyed taking these photographs today. And I think the fact that they are iconic means in some ways that we should photograph them, we should capture them and enjoy them, because they should be part of our portfolio and part of the images that we take. And why would we avoid them just because they've been photographed before? There is another location that I want to photograph just around the corner from the previous one, and that's where I'm heading now. Doesn't look like it's changed at all. Well, maybe it's been replaced, it's new. The only thing I'll say is that the water is really low compared to what it has been other years that I've been here. But once again, it's one of those other iconic locations. Really a bit disappointed. The fence that I've photographed before is, well, the line of fence post, what it is really, isn't in that great a state of repair. I always knew the wire mesh was a bit messy, but this time it's sort of rolled half the way back and doesn't even extend right to the end. So I've decided not to take a photograph of it. Partly it's because the water's so low that it's kind of upsetting things. But anyway, I have set up to take a 60-second, 1-minute exposure looking at the island from this direction. And I've got some rocks down in the bottom right hand corner, which are just in the gap between the other edge of the lake, Derwent Isle, and the rocks sort of line up with the path up onto the top of cat bells in that gap. So it's another sort of iconic scene, but I'm just a little bit disappointed that I couldn't photograph the fence really. One of the advantages of doing long exposures is that it gives you a lot of time to think and just look around. And whilst I've been stood here thinking, it kind of dawned on me that I think it's been about 15 years since I've taken photographs from this place. The last time I was in the lakes was about 5-6 years ago, and I was in the southern lakes. I didn't come this far north. And before that was probably about another 10 years. And it may even been longer. And that could have even been that I'd shot it on a film camera and not a digital camera. And if it was digital, it would have been one of my very early digital cameras. So the feeling and the thoughts that, you know, it's all been done before aren't strictly true. Didn't take long to get to where I was going either, and luckily it looks like the car park is a little bit closer than I actually thought it was going to be, so I don't have such a long walk, which is good, because I've been up for a few hours now, and to be honest with you, I'm starving. I need to get back for a bacon butty, but I really want to get this photograph done first. There are a few photographs which could be taken in many different locations, and I would say that they are actually of their type, not so much that they are of a particular location themselves. That's right, we're at the quintessential Lake District National Park lakes landing stage. These jetties are obviously not just about the Lake District. You can find them all over the world, but for me, this very much does speak of the Lake District. And I can't decide exactly how I'm going to photograph it. I may photograph it in different ways. I might photograph it straight on, like this, leading down into the scene beyond, and I might take a picture from one side with a bit of reflections in the water as well. I'm going to set up here first. Taking this photograph demands crispness. It demands that each of these parts of the jetty, the posts working its way into the scene, the slats, the decking, are 100% pin sharp. Because what I'm setting them against is the still water. So I'm using bulb mode. I've used it quite a lot on this trip. And these final set of images, I'm actually taking at f16, which is giving me about a minute exposure. But even at f16, I'm just making sure that I'm managing to focus stack just a little bit, just to make sure that it's right. Now I've taken some at f11 already, and I'm hoping that those are the ones which will come out, because that's where my camera lens probably works a little bit better. But the ones at f16 just give me twice the shutter speed, and it just makes sure that I am getting those sharp pictures, because I'm not going to come back again for quite a few months. I might well come back again in October, maybe sort of October time possibly, if I can get some of that autumnal colour maybe, but that's yet to be decided. So I've really enjoyed taking these images today. It's been brilliant getting back to these iconic spots. If this is the first one that you've seen, or you're part way through, then you can watch them in any order, and at the end I'll put up the full link to the playlist so you can enjoy them all. But for now, I just want to leave you with the final photograph that I've taken on my spring tour of the Lake District National Park.